He fathered over 200 children. He was tall, dark-skinned, broad-shouldered, and so legendary that white mistresses allegedly lined up for him. But he wasn't a lover. He wasn't free. He was a slave. And his job to breed, not once, not twice, but as many times as his master wanted. This is the forgotten, twisted story of Pata Seca, the black man forced to become a human breeding machine. His real name was Roque Florenicio, on the plantations of 19th century São Paulo, Brazil. Nobody used that name. They called him Pata Seca, dry paw. Where did that come from? Nobody's sure. Some say it was a nickname for how he walked. Others say it was a cruel joke, a way to strip him of dignity. But everyone agreed. This man was a physical marvel. 6'5", built like a warrior, skin dark like mahogany. To the slave owners, he was perfect stock. And in a world where black people were literally bred like animals, that made him profitable. So they put him to work. Not in the fields, not in the stables, but in the bedrooms. Became what they called a stud slave, a man used to impregnate as many enslaved women as possible. And not just for fun, for business. Every child he fathered was another asset, another body, another price tag. You'd think a story like this would have disappeared. But no, over time, it got romanticized. Some versions of the tale talk about how the white mistresses loved him, desired him, couldn't resist him, as if he was the lucky one, as if the entire thing wasn't built on power, violence, and ownership. According to local legends, plantation wives and even visiting women would sneak off just to have a turn. Some offered money, some offered influence, some just took what they wanted. And what choice did he have? Say no, get whipped. Say yes, you're still a slave. That's not seduction, that's survival. But somehow history decided to frame him as some kind of Casanova, the guy with too much game, a myth, a punchline. It's the same way people turn trauma into entertainment, when they read too uncomfortable to deal with the truth. Let us be honest. No man fathers 200+ children because he's lucky with women. He does it because he was turned into a tool. There's even a word for it: reproductive slavery. We talk about physical labor, but slavery didn't just exploit black bodies for work. It used them to multiply wealth, to create more slaves. That's exactly what Pata Seca was used for. Each time a woman was sent to him, she didn't go for love. She went because she was told to. And if she had a child, that child didn't belong to her, or to him, it belonged to the master. Imagine that, being forced into fatherhood, again and again, and never allowed to raise, name, or protect your own children. By the time slavery was abolished in Brazil in 1888, yes, Brazil was the last country in the Americas to officially abolish slavery. Pata Seca had become something of a living myth. He tried to start over, lived in a small town called Sorocaba, ran a modest farm, settled down with one woman, tried to live a quiet life. But how do you move past a legacy like that? You're not remembered for your words, or your values, or your choices. You're remembered for your seed. And it didn't stop there. Story became something people told at bars, a legend, a kind of folk hero, worse, a fantasy. But you'll notice something missing in all the retellings: his voice. There are no quotes, no diary entries, no personal reflections, because nobody thought to ask how he felt. He was treated like a symbol, a tool. Even in freedom, he was never seen as a full human being. So we're left to imagine the weight he carried, the faces of sons and daughters he passed in the street, the pain of being remembered not for who he was, but for how many. And that's the part people don't like to talk about, because it forces you to confront how slavery corrupted even the most intimate parts of life. Love, sex, family, legacy. It turned everything human into a transaction. We like to think of slavery as whips and chains, but it was also bedrooms and bloodlines, and that's the part that cuts the deepest. Pata Seca is part of that uncomfortable truth. He wasn't a legend, he wasn't a stud, he wasn't blessed with game. He was used, exploited, turned into capital, and when the world was done with him, it moved on. They called him a stallion, but he was never free to run. If you want more Untold Black history like this, hit like and subscribe. It helps me keep bringing these stories to light.